These 5 masturbation mistakes silently. Weakening circulation and intimacy after 60. Most men over 60 have no idea they're doing this wrong. It's not aging, it's not bad genes. The real issue? 5 quiet habits that seem harmless, but they're slowly cutting off blood flow, dulling sensation, and ruining intimacy. It usually starts in private, with daily routines your body could once handle, but now they're doing more harm than good. In this video, you'll uncover the 5 hidden mistakes wrecking your circulation and connection, both physically and emotionally. Stick around till the end. The final mistake? It's the one most men ignore, and it causes the most long-term damage. 1. Overly aggressive technique blocks blood flow. One of the biggest mistakes that quietly harm a man's sexual health after 60 is using too much force during masturbation. Most men don't even realize it's happening. It feels familiar, it's what they've always done, and in the moment it might seem like no big deal. But what feels normal today could be slowly breaking down your body's ability to respond the way you want it to. See, a lot of men, without even thinking, try to chase the same intensity they had in their 20s or 30s. Back then, everything was faster, stronger, and more responsive. So now, when things feel different, many men assume they just need to apply more pressure or move faster to feel the same spark. But that's actually the worst thing you can do. After 60, your body changes in ways that make aggressive habits more harmful than ever. The skin becomes thinner. Blood vessels are less elastic. Your sensitivity shifts. When you use a tight grip, or pump too fast, or squeeze with too much pressure, you're putting stress on tiny blood vessels that are already more fragile with age. These vessels are like little tubes that carry blood where it needs to go, especially to the penis. But if those vessels are constantly being squeezed or stretched, they start to break down. Tiny micro tears can form under the surface. Scar tissue builds up. And over time, those once flexible vessels stiffen and narrow. That means less blood can flow. And when blood doesn't flow properly, your erections suffer. It might start with softer erections, or ones that don't last as long. Then you might notice it takes longer to get aroused, or that it's harder to stay interested. Sensation gets duller. The excitement fades, and without realizing it, intimacy becomes less about connection and more about frustration. Some men even begin to avoid sex completely, not because they don't want it, but because it feels like something's missing. And that feeling, that slow drifting away from your own body and your partner, can lead to deeper emotional pain. You may feel confused, embarrassed, or like you've lost a part of yourself. You might pull away from the person you care about, not out of choice, but because you don't know what's wrong. The truth is, this isn't about age alone. It's about how we treat our bodies, especially in private. And nobody ever teaches this. Nobody says, hey, maybe you should ease up a little, or there's a better way to take care of your body after 60. So most men just keep doing what they've always done, not realizing the damage it's causing until it's already affecting their lives. But the good news is this: you can fix it. And it doesn't require medication or surgery or some complicated program. It just takes awareness and a willingness to change. Start by loosening your grip. Slow down your rhythm. Avoid twisting, bending, or applying too much pressure. Use lubrication to reduce friction and help your skin move more naturally. Focus more on sensation, not speed. Pay attention to what feels good, not what you think should feel good. When you treat your body with care instead of force, something amazing happens. Blood starts to flow more freely. You become more responsive. Your body starts to trust you again. Erections get stronger. Sensation becomes more noticeable. And slowly, you feel more connected, not just to yourself, but to your partner too. That's what this is really about. It's not just about technique, it's about protecting the parts of you that bring pleasure, connection, and intimacy. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to enjoy closeness without shame or struggle. And you don't have to settle for a slow decline. You just have to stop doing what's quietly working against you. A simple change today, just being a little gentler with yourself, can open the door to better circulation, stronger intimacy, and a deeper sense of confidence in your body again. 2. Masturbating without lubrication causes hidden damage. Another silent mistake many men make, often without even realizing it, is masturbating without any kind of lubrication. It might seem like a small thing, something that doesn't matter much, especially if you've been doing it that way for decades. But as we get older, our bodies change, and what used to feel fine in the past can slowly start to cause problems that build over time. After 60, the skin on the penis becomes thinner, drier, and far more delicate. The natural elasticity that used to protect you from irritation starts to fade. That means dry rubbing creates far more friction than your skin can safely handle. Each time you masturbate without lubrication, you risk causing micro T-tears, tiny little injuries that you can't see but that your body feels. These small injuries trigger inflammation, and inflammation leads to scarring. Over time, scar tissue builds up beneath the surface, silently hardening and stiffening the soft tissue that should be flexible and responsive. Worse yet, this scar tissue can begin to restrict the blood vessels that are responsible for healthy circulation in the genital area. Those vessels carry the blood that gives you strong erections, that heightens your sensitivity, and that supports pleasure and connection. When they're damaged, everything feels weaker, less intense, less reliable, less satisfying. I remember a man, around 67 years old, who came to me feeling confused. He wasn't in pain, but sex felt dull, almost like his body wasn't fully on. He still cared about his partner, he still wanted intimacy, but he felt disconnected, like something inside him had turned down the volume on his desire. After some gentle and honest conversation, it turned out he had never once used lubricant. Ever. To him, it felt unnecessary or even embarrassing to bring up, but I encouraged him to try a simple change. Using a gentle water-based lubricant. It wasn't about being fancy. It was about protecting his body. And within just a few weeks, he felt different. Sensation returned. Erections became firmer. More importantly, his confidence grew. He and his partner felt closer again, not just physically, but emotionally, because he no longer felt broken or uncertain. That's the power of something as simple as proper lubrication. It's not indulgent. It's not extra. It's essential. Lubrication acts like a cushion between your skin and your hand, reducing the drag and friction that lead to long-term damage. It helps protect those tiny blood vessels from tearing and keeps inflammation down. It preserves blood flow, which is critical to keeping your erection strong and your sensitivity sharp. But beyond the physical, it helps you feel safe in your body again. When you know you're doing something good for yourself, you start to rebuild a sense of trust and connection. Skipping lubrication might seem harmless, but over time it can quietly steal your ability to fully enjoy intimacy. And when that happens, frustration can begin to take over. You might avoid sex not because you don't want it, but because you don't feel like yourself. You might grow distant from your partner, not on purpose, but because you feel unsure of how to fix what's wrong. It doesn't have to be that way. You can make a small shift today that protects your skin, supports your circulation, and restores your confidence. Choose a quality lubricant, something gentle, ideally water-based, and free from harsh chemicals. Keep it nearby. Make it a part of your routine. Think of it as a way to take care of your health, your pleasure, and your connection all at once. When you stop treating lubrication like an afterthought and start treating it like an act of care, everything begins to change. You feel more, you connect more, and you begin to reclaim the part of yourself that deserves to thrive, not just survive, as you age. 3. Ignoring erectile warning signs. Now let's take a deeper look at something many men never think twice about. What happens when we don't respond to those small but persistent changes in our sexual health? After talking about the damage caused by dry stimulation, this next mistake often creeps in silently. Brushing off the body's warning signs. You might notice it starts with something subtle, a little delay in arousal, an erection that isn't as firm as usual, Or maybe climax doesn't bring the same sense of satisfaction it once did. For a lot of men over 60, the instinct is to chalk it up to aging. We minimize it. We tell ourselves, it's probably nothing, or this just comes with the territory. But here's the problem. By doing that, we ignore one of the clearest messages our body is trying to send. Erections are a direct reflection of circulation and nerve health. So when they change, it's rarely random. It's often the result of accumulated strain, sometimes from rough or overly frequent masturbation, sometimes from poor recovery, sometimes from other health issues we've been ignoring. And when you miss those early signs, the damage can build. I remember a man 72 years old, thoughtful, healthy, and still in love with his wife of over 40 years. He came to me because he felt something slipping in their connection. He wasn't in pain, but he noticed that intimacy felt muted, like a dimmer switch had been turned down. At first, he blamed age, like so many men do. But when we talked through his habits, it became clear that he was ignoring his own needs for recovery and softness. His body had been asking for help, but he hadn't learned how to listen. Once we addressed this, by slowing things down, switching to gentler techniques, and adding rest days between stimulation, he began to notice small changes. His erections grew stronger, his confidence returned. But most importantly, he felt close to his partner again. This wasn't a miracle fix. It was simply the result of respecting what his body had been asking for all along. And this is what I want you to hear. Reduced erection strength is not just a sexual issue, it's a vascular issue. And like any part of your health, it can improve with attention and care. Ignoring these early signs is like driving with your check engine light on. Sure, the car still runs for a while, but the longer you wait, the worse the repair gets. Don't let pride or fear stop you from taking these signals seriously. It's not about shame, it's about wisdom. So if you're seeing changes, take a breath and ask yourself, am I being too rough with myself? Am I rushing through the process without any real connection or care? Am I giving my body the time it needs to heal and reset between sessions? If the answer is no, it's okay. You can change that today. Try approaching intimacy more gently. Treat the experience like a chance to relax and connect, not just a quick fix. And don't underestimate the value of giving your body time. Even just 2 or 3 days between sessions can allow blood vessels and nerves to recharge and rebuild. Your erections are not just about desire, they're a signpost for how your circulatory system is functioning. That's powerful information. If something feels off, that's not failure, that's feedback. Use it, adjust, improve. Don't wait until the damage feels permanent. I've seen countless men restore not only their function but also their confidence, emotional connection, and overall sense of well-being just by responding early, with care and curiosity. The body wants to heal. It just needs you to listen. Start today. Your future intimacy is worth protecting. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more tips like these. And if you have any questions or thoughts, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Let's keep the conversation going and help each other out. 4. Holding your breath during masturbation restricts blood flow. Now let's talk about a habit that seems harmless, so small you might not even notice it, but can quietly choke off circulation and intimacy. Holding your breath during arousal. Most men have no idea they're doing it. It's almost automatic, especially as the body builds toward climax. But here's the thing. That quick breath hold you might do at the peak of pleasure, it creates a cascade of tension inside your body, and over time, it can seriously weaken your sexual function. Let me explain why. When you hold your breath, especially in moments of intense sensation, your blood pressure rises, your muscles tense, your chest tightens, and the blood vessels, including the very delicate ones in your pelvis, constrict. That means less blood flow to the penis, less oxygen, and less sensitivity. Over time, these micro strains add up. Your arousal might not feel as strong. Erections may become softer, less frequent, or slower to arrive. You might even notice climax feels dull, like something is missing, But it's not just the physical response that suffers. Holding your breath also triggers the body's stress response, your sympathetic nervous system. That's the same system that kicks in when you're in danger, not when you're trying to enjoy a moment of intimacy. It sends the message, tighten up, brace, something's wrong, when in reality, your body needs to be in a state of calm and openness to function at its best. I had a client, he's 69, healthy, active, happily retired, but he came to me feeling frustrated. Everything seemed to be working fine on paper. His labs were great, no serious medical issues, but he told me something didn't feel right anymore. He said his body wasn't responding the way it used to, and sex felt more like a task than a pleasure. As we talked, we noticed a pattern. Harold had developed a habit of clenching his jaw, his stomach, even his breath, especially during solo play. It had become an unconscious reaction. Once he became aware of it, we introduced a simple technique: deep, slow, rhythmic breathing. Nothing fancy, just focusing on keeping his breath steady and relaxed from start to finish, especially when arousal built. And the change? Remarkable. Within a few weeks, Harold felt more connected to his body. His erections were fuller, he had less anxiety, and that quiet frustration he carried, it started to fade. You see, breathing deeply activates your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and restore system. It calms the heart, opens up blood vessels, and invites more oxygen into your tissues, including those crucial pelvic muscles. So when you shift your focus from rushing toward climax to staying present with your breath, you're not only protecting your veins, you're enhancing pleasure, naturally. This is not about becoming some kind of perfect meditator. It's about making a small, powerful shift. Try it next time you're alone. Instead of chasing a goal, just breathe. In slowly, out gently. Feel what changes. Notice how your body softens, how sensation deepens, how confidence starts to return, not because you forced it, but because you supported it. The truth is, your breath is one of the most overlooked tools for healthy circulation and sexual longevity. It's free, it's always available, and it could be the missing piece between tension and pleasure, between frustration and fulfillment. So, the next time you catch yourself tensing up, clenching, or racing toward the finish line, pause, breathe. Let your body feel safe, not pressured. That alone can change everything. Because when you give yourself that kind of kindness, your body responds in ways you might not expect. With strength, with ease, and with renewed intimacy you may have thought was long gone. 5. Masturbating too frequently limits healthy circulation. Let's talk about something that often goes unnoticed because it hides behind routine. It's not about technique this time. It's about how often you engage in solo play. Yes, frequency. It may not sound like a big deal at first, but masturbating too frequently, especially without giving your body the recovery time it needs, can slowly wear down your hormonal balance, your circulation, and even your emotional connection to intimacy. And after 60, your body operates differently. It still desires pleasure, of course, but it requires more rhythm, more care, and more respect for recovery. When you climax frequently, without enough rest between sessions, you temporarily lower your testosterone, disturb your dopamine balance, and overstimulate the nervous system. The result? Weaker erections, lower sex drive, less energy, and a growing emotional distance from the real, fulfilling intimacy you deserve. A 73-year-old retired teacher I worked with is a powerful example of this. After his wife passed, he turned to masturbation as a way to cope with loneliness and stress. It became part of his daily routine, almost like brushing his teeth. At first, it gave him comfort, but slowly he noticed his excitement dulling. His erections weren't as full, his energy felt drained, and when he began seeing someone new, he realized he wasn't feeling connected. He was physically present, but emotionally distant. That made him question everything. Was it age? Was something wrong with him? But the truth was simpler and more hopeful. His body wasn't broken, it was just exhausted. I suggested that he reduce the frequency, not to stop completely, but to give his body a real chance to reset. He scaled back to 2 or 3 times a week and focused on being more mindful when he did engage, breathing deeply, slowing down, and reconnecting to sensation instead of chasing quick release. Within a few short weeks, the change was undeniable. His erections returned with more strength, his emotional desire reignited. And when he spent time with his new partner, he felt present again. Engaged, curious, alive. What Martin experienced isn't rare. Overstimulation, especially as we age, can desensitize not only our physical pleasure centers, but also our emotional desire. When you don't allow recovery, your nervous system doesn't fully reset, and the body becomes dependent on constant input just to feel a spark. That's not pleasure. That's survival. And that's not the kind of intimacy most people want in this stage of life. You deserve real, vibrant connection. So here's the deeper truth. Moderation isn't boring, it's powerful. Giving your body rest between sessions allows testosterone to stabilize, blood vessels to repair, dopamine to become more responsive, and your sensitivity to return. It actually amplifies pleasure, not diminishes it. Spacing out your sessions, even by a day or two, can make a huge difference in how energized and alive you feel. You start looking forward to connection again. Your body feels less depleted. Your heart opens up. And intimacy becomes exciting instead of just routine. If you've been feeling like your spark is fading or your connection isn't what it used to be, don't panic. Take it as a signal, not a problem to fix, but a rhythm to restore. Start small. Give yourself space. Focus on quality over quantity. Reconnect with your breath, your body, your emotional state, and trust that your desire isn't gone. It's just waiting for you to slow down enough to feel it again. Intimacy after 60 isn't about giving anything up. It's about getting back everything that truly matters. These 5 mistakes, aggressive techniques, skipping lubrication, ignoring warning signs, holding your breath, and excessive frequency, may seem small, but they're silently stealing your intimacy and circulation. The good news? They're fixable. You're not beyond repair, and it's never too late to make a change. By using gentler techniques, proper lubrication, breathing deeply, and allowing time to recover, you can restore both circulation and closeness. Don't let emotional disconnect control your life. Start today with one small change. Share this video with someone who needs it, and let's build a healthier future together. Hit like, subscribe, and comment with what resonated most. Your journey to renewed vitality begins now. Thank you for watching our video today. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like and subscribe button to support us. We truly appreciate you support, and it will motivate us to continue make more information video to help you all. Thank you and goodbye.